make sure that we understand that we don't deserve Medicare for all. Like, that's the guy. Like, out of all the people, all the things wrong with the Kamala, all the things wrong with Booker and him being so inauthentic, with everything wrong with all of our candidates, Howard Schultz is a unifying force. And I really simultaneously appreciate him and hate the fact that he's running, because I think he is the guy who's going to unify us all around. Like, we might have some crappy Democrats, but this guy, he has a vested interest in making sure that we understand we don't deserve anything better. So, not a lot of slam
You like Bill
dunking
Burton, though, right?
You got to
give Bill Burton credit.
You got and you got to give Schultz credit because he's clearly thought about this stuff and feels
really
strongly
deeply.
about it. Like,
Did you see?
There's an authenticity to his oligarchic perspective
He's
that I
quite
think
sincere.
is sincere.
Did you see? I didn't even see.
He definitely thinks that we're the little people.
Did you see Trump's greeting him in the race? And I guess in one of Schultz's interviews, he did when he's like, "Look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but like I know who to put in the room or whatever." And Trump immediately hits. He's like, "He doesn't have the guts," and he says it himself. Not the smartest guy in the room. He just went right at the beautiful.
But what's a
angle.
crazy juxtaposition, though? What's really crazy is like the way you set it up, which is perfect, Sam. How Kamala Harris and Cory Booker are like really friends of the financier establishment. Well, if you think that is bad, here we have a guy directly from like the Uber 1%, right? Who's showing us that as bad as a Kamala Harris is all around the board, like this guy and what he stands for really is representative of the donor class of the Democratic Party. Like, if you really want to get down to the brass tacks of it, he is the donor class of the Democratic Party, and they are coming out kicking and screaming because they hate the possibility of an AOC in a couple of years. So these are the people that Cory Booker answers to.
You see, this is the interesting thing about it. On one hand, he makes them look a little better. On the other hand, if Warren and Sanders and maybe someone like Sherrod Brown, if these people are smart in this race, he will end up being the club that they smack them with. We're going to be hearing about Howard Schultz Democrats or Howard Schultz types. Like, he's going to be an icon. Hopefully,
Howard Schultz Democrats like sellout Ben Dixon.
Exactly. Ben,
exactly.
Go back and enjoy your whatever you neoliberals do on a Friday.
Hey, man.
Enjoy.
We're counting our George Soros money. So,
all right. Tell George
thanks
Soros
for having
I
me,
say
man.
hi. Thanks, I appreciate it. The Benjamin Dixon Show. Also, check out thenorthstar.com. Folks, going to take a very quick break. And then when we come back, Virgil, Texas will be here from Chapo Trap House in studio. And Matt, do we have a Jimmy Reefer Cake song or anything like that? Wow, everybody just shook their heads in a weird way. Okay, all right. I'm sorry, we have guests. I shouldn't have raised that. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back in a second.
Restroom. I couldn't tell you what the hell it was supposed
mean, if you want to hear. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure. Welcome back to the Majority Report studio. Virgil, Texas, from a show called Chapo Trap House, which I think people are familiar with. Also, one of the co-authors of what's the name of your book?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The Chapo Guide to Revolution, a manifesto against logic, facts, and reason.
And that was a New York Times bestselling.
A New York Times bestseller, yeah.
That's very exciting. And so, but you didn't even bring a copy of this.
I did. I thought it would be gauche if I were waving it around, but I can if you want.
No, I just thought you would be gauche. I didn't realize that. I mean,
well, if I were going to be gauche, this is the place to do it.
This is gauche.
We actually
central.
were complimenting you on your impeccable, relentless self-promotion skills the last time you were on. We respect the hustle here.
Oh, definitely. Now
that's a big compliment coming from Michael.
That's exactly right. There is no facetiousness whatsoever in that.
I'm gonna. Oh shoot!
Yeah, you're bored. Your board doesn't. He's making it up.
That was for Jamie.
That was a compliment from Jamie. From me.
All right, so Virgil, let's start with this. I know you mentioned you're a bit of a Schultz head.
Yeah. I've got all his books.
And how many books does Howard Schultz have?
I think the one that just came out is the third one because when we went on our West Coast tour last year, we did a couple shows in Seattle. And so, we had to read the 2 Howard Schultz books. And Rosamund, we just put out a bonus episode a few days ago with live cuts from that live show.
He really has 3 books?
I think so, yes.
Were the first 2 also coffee puns?
Oh, God, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm going to say yes.
Was like one top it off? Or,
Higher ground.
That's
good.
Ooh,
that's great.
No, the first one is Onward, how Starbucks fought for its life without losing its purpose.
He also wrote Pour Your Heart Into It.
There you go.
Pour Your Heart Into It.
So was Pour Your Heart Into It the second book?
That was the second one.
No, that was
really?
1997.
So
my
wait
God.
a second. So he left.
He also has one From the Ground Up.
Well, that's the new one.
That's
very
the one that
close.
just came out.
That's a new one. But so his middle book, he left. He sort of eschewed the pun for the middle one, and then came back to it when he realized like that maybe wasn't a success.
He also edited is this co-wrote for Love of Country, what our veterans can teach us about citizenship, heroism.
We should try to think of a coffee pun for a book about veterans.
Veterans don't die on a hill of beans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you for your service, but no use crying over
boots on the ground.
There you go,
good.
boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Works.
All right. Well, so you're a Schultz head. I don't know if you've seen. His 2 top, I guess, advisors, Steve Schmidt and Bill Burton.
These are he hired them.
Yeah.
They're on contract with him.
So you don't think they're working pro bono?
Oh no, I'm asking. I'm asking how long that arrangement's been going on.
That is a good question. Now, Steve Schmidt has left MSNBC as a contributor.
That check must be
you
so
get.
good.
I don't know that his check from MSNBC was that
you
massive.
think I'm talking about the MSNBC.
No.
check?
Yeah, the check must be really good that he's getting. I mean, they must be getting an enormous amount of money.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is you hire Steve Schmidt who is a political consultant if you're going to go join the political arena, if you're going to run for an office. You wouldn't just hire him to be your friend.
Right.
Your regular consultant. Though after reading Schultz's 2 books, that's sort of the stupid sort of fucking thing he might do.
Well, I think he's still. I
lost the campaign.
So,
but I
do you
gained
think
a
that
friend.
he's committed to running at this
No,
point?
he would do a thing that's like, we're going to run this coffee shop like a political campaign.
Right. Or we're going to solve the race issue in America through suggesting that you bother your barista with a question about race while they're preparing your latte, which was a thing a year ago.
Well, did you think? Let me ask you this: do you think that he has made a determination to run at this point, or do you think he's still in that mode of like, I'll see? There's certain. I need to see a certain poll number before I declare.
I don't know, because my honest instinct is that he's selling a book. I mean, that's what he is. He's on a book tour right now, and this kind of thing gins up sales. But people also said the same thing about Trump when he ran in 2015.
Right. But you just made the point too. Do you hire Bill Burton and Steve Schmidt if you're doing a book? Like,
that's why I'm curious about the nature of their employment.
Well, it's enough that Steve Schmidt had to quit MSNBC, and I know that every now and then I get an email from. In fact, I just got one like yesterday. Maybe this was a function of it. I don't know, because it seemed. But it's I got one that is from. What is it called? The MSNBC trust thing or something like that. Basically saying, make sure you tell us if you're getting paid by someone on the outside. Is essentially what the email said.
Yeah, I know. I tell MSNBC all the time whenever I get money from another source.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sure. Soon we all do, right? Well, here is Steve Schmidt on. Nicole Wallace's
Nicole Wallace is interesting in this clip.
And just in fairness to the critics of an independent run, the 2016 election was decided by a razor-thin margin, and the third-party candidates could have done just what they're afraid they did, siphoned off enough votes to tip the election.
Well, let's look at what Howard Schultz has said that has set off this frenzy. He said that I'm seriously considering running for president. It's the right of every American.
Hold on, pause it for 1 second, and I want to go back. But Steve Schmidt, he's getting so much money that he feels completely comfortable, like totally dressing down now. Did you notice that? Like every time he's been on MSNBC for he's worn a tie, and now he's going out there like I've got to hit.
I feel like he was the type of guy who would go on Bill Maher and wear some type of poor fitted suit.
That to me is a sign of how much money he's making off of this.
That has set off this frenzy. He said that I'm seriously considering running for president. It's the right of every American, should they choose to do so. And if I do so, I'll do it as a centrist independent candidate. He also has said he will not be a spoiler in the race. He has also said he views it as an urgent national imperative to remove this morally unfit president from office. He believes that. He's not Jill Stein. He's not Ross Perot. He's not Ralph Nader. What he said is he wants to have a conversation with the American people to see if perhaps the hour of disruption may be at hand for our utterly broken political system. And make no mistake about it, the brokenness of that political system is what resulted in the election of Donald John Trump.
Pause it for 1 second. Wasn't Trump that thing?
Precisely.
Wasn't Trump the victory, the disruption of the political moment, or whatever?
It was disruptive, yeah. I'll say that, yeah.
In many respects, innovative.
And it reflected the actual center more, which is socially more to the right and economically populist if you pull it.
But he wants to say that the disruption was the victory of Trump, who was as opposed to the disruption that allowed Trump to,
election of Donald John Trump. Are we fated in perpetuity to be in this cycle of revenge politics, of self-interest, where the American people are not represented, their future is not represented, or can we do